Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas. A speculator. We're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's
really?
Oh.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable. Which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable. Turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
Somewhere in the midst, Gavin Newsom lost track of which camera to panic into, and Joe Rogan entered with facts like kettlebells. It began with a smile and finished with burnt soil. You're going to want popcorn for this one. Greg Gutfeld followed, up with jokes that hurt more than California taxes. Then what occurred next wasn't just a takedown. It was a stunning slow-motion policy collapse. No, Newsom's hair gel couldn't rescue him.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want president.
Cut to Gavin Newsom, who is standing at a platform, channeling the energy of a guy who feels the world needs more of him. The camera gently zooms in on his award-winning hair if it were ready to solve. Global peace via conditioner, the voiceover then booms like a microphone. In actuality, when these to-be-ass-detecting bulldozers target California's sparkle prince, the outcome is more of a planned demolition with flair than a policy debate.
Gavin ponders why Dems lost.
We lost the popular vote and we lost the electoral vote. We got crushed. But
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes. Was
it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that list.
Snow, in theory, Gavin is the epitome of progressive leadership, charisma, and climate buzzwords. He enters a room as if he were performing the last runway at a fashion show with a government overreach theme, but he makes it sexy by having the politicians triple threat down. He smiles like toothpaste, talks like a TEDx, and governs like the Wi-Fi is always buffering. He also has just enough recycled paper in his back pocket to win an award.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have. Everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plan.
He has more green policies than a Whole Foods store, yet the state's electricity system is so brittle that a strong wind puts it into an existential crisis. And let's not even talk about the climate sermons. Go electric, they exclaim just before requesting that citizens refrain from charging their vehicles between 4 o'clock and 9 p.m. due to the sun's early peak. It's ironic that gas stoves are prohibited while half of the state prepares supper using flashlights.
And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize. conveniently, and people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Tyrus, did he leave out anything?
The Joe Rogan Experience isn't your aunt's podcast with over 100 million listeners and an algorithm that probably terrifies CNN. Rogan didn't just leave California. He evacuated like a man who noticed a glitch in the simulation and decided to unplug himself via Interstate 10 East. Who could blame him when your home state starts looking less like Malibu and more like a live-action Fallout trailer? Even a sauna-loving, elk-hunting podcast host has to tap out. Rogan's secret sauce is his platform, which is a cultural powerhouse, maximum of zero filters. Nothing made Rogan's I twitch quicker than Gavin Newsom's lockdown reasoning, and well, Gavin is out eating as if it were a tasting menu. What the devil is going on here? The French laundry reservation system almost fell apart in disgrace when Apocalypse Rogan exposed Newsom's duplicity and exposed aristocratic immunity from the law.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying, we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think like 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush.
Rogan also enlisted the help of bright physicians, economists, comedians, and sarcastic master's degree holders, and they all painted the same image. California's policies made less sense than a TikTok investment seminar. The tech exodus, also known as the modern-day Oregon Trail minus dysentery and plus Teslas, was signed off on with a smile by the guy who seemed to believe that public trust came with hair products. The regulations also penalized small businesses, while ignoring health guidelines that felt like they were taken from a magic 8-ball. Rogan didn't just talk about it, he lived it. He packed up his studio, relocated to Austin, and established his business in a place where power outages weren't a daily occurrence. However, he wasn't alone. California became anti-innovation and anti-capitalist. Perhaps his most scathing criticism came from the raw, visceral feeling of lived experience rather than from spreadsheets or knowledgeable visitors.
So, while Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary politician.
As Californians continue to suffer from the destruction and have lost their homes, Gavin Newsom has decided that this is the ideal time to try to increase his popularity and basically market himself. He has started a podcast, and I'll play you the trailer shortly, but notice how the trailer he shared with the world on X doesn't even mention the most horrifying fire disaster that happened under his leadership, in part because of the decisions he was making, like reducing fire prevention. No, this is his opportunity to discuss his image and emphasize that he's not your typical politician.
Anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
Instead of screaming or exaggerating, Rogan just glanced around, picked up a microphone, and stated what everyone with common sense was thinking: this isn't going to work. Then, like a raccoon with a thesaurus and a grudge, Greg Gutfeld appeared. Oh, he's a 5-course meal of pretentiousness wrapped in photo-ready hair. Gutfeld looks at Newsom's glossy, airbrushed aura and instantly notices the hilarious contradiction. The man doesn't just roast, he flams. He's not here to rant. He's here to fill it every ounce of phoniness with a smirk, a punchline, and a side-eye that could curdle almond milk. The guy presents himself as if he is aiming to win SimCity on nightmare mode, and he looks like a perfume. Commercial, zoom out behind Gavin, who seems to have been created in a Westworld lab to look like a politician on the cover of Vanity Fair, human garbage in tent settlements, boarded up small businesses adjacent to artisanal juice bars, and human excrement on sidewalks. Gavin is smiling as if he just used a scented candle and some self-affirmations to end homelessness in this dystopian day spa.
When Gavin Newsom talks about California, he's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, f***o, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too expensive. Believe that he's correct about vaccines, or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want president.
Gutfeld doesn't just mock Gavin Newsom's polished image. He targets the media's obsession with portraying him as a modern-day Kennedy while Californians struggle with soaring costs and blackouts. He ridicules the glowing praise for Newsom's leadership as families face real crises. Gutfeld tears apart the empty climate promises, pointing out that flashy green policies benefit reputations, not the people paying the price.
Runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow bald.
His sharpest blow? Laughing at the idea that a man who can't manage California can run the entire country. Gutfeld compares Newsom's national ambitions to franchising a restaurant that failed its health inspection: glossy on the outside, rotten within. His humor lands hard because it exposes uncomfortable truths. When Gutfeld and Rogan joined forces, their combined takedown of Newsom's carefully crafted image left one clear conclusion: Newsom's leadership doesn't just fall short, it completely fails.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years due to the strike.
Rogan doesn't shout or vomit at the mouth. Instead, he just states the facts in his surprisingly calm podcast voice. Homelessness is on the rise, people are losing their jobs, and companies are disappearing. It's the kind of delivery that strikes you like a sledgehammer wrapped in a TED lecture, and the scary part is that he's not even trying to be humorous. I relocated for a purpose. Like a stand-up comedian who has been given the most absurd script in the world and is just reading it aloud with a look that begs, can you believe this is real? Gutfeld follows a distinct tone while maintaining the same weaponized accuracy as Rogan. Rogan provides you with the deterioration. Rogan appeals to independent thinkers and those who are looking for receipts. Around the second Obama term, Gutfeld seizes the audience's doubters, critics, and those who have lost faith in cable news. Fans of Rogan bring up charts and lengthy interviews. Gutfeld's team just remarks, "Told you," while pointing to the burning trash. Hold on.
Bringing up Gavin. Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it.
However, both groups come to the same unquestionable conclusion. Gavin isn't leading. He's performing, and the reviews are overwhelmingly negative. He's not just failing, though. He's failing with flair. He's like the human equivalent of a movie trailer, which looks amazing until you watch it and realize the plot is just 90 minutes of pointless calories and perplexing choices. He is the embodiment of style over substance, of speeches over solutions, and when Rogan and Gutfeld work together to shatter that facade, it's like watching two completely different mechanics disassemble the same malfunctioning machine with completely different tools. What's crazy is how unified the crowd is, even though Rogan and Gutfeld's viewers wouldn't typically be caught dead in the same group chat. One person is holding a wrench, while the other is holding a chainsaw, but now, libertarians, conservatives, ex-hippies, frustrated millennials, and even that one barista who simply stopped watching politics because everything is so stupid are all nodding and agreeing that perhaps the real pandemic was political theater. As soon as you think it's over, however, the climactic montage starts, and by then, it's not even about who won, it's about what was exposed. Rogan may make a whole show called Why California Still Sucks volume since Newsom wasn't just called out. He was decoded and had the curtains pulled back. The whole situation might be turned into a skit called Gavin's Glamorous Gutter Tour by Bonge Gutfeld. Alternatively, Gavin may take the criticism seriously and even upload a filtered selfie next to a wine turban, calling it leadership. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.